Hey, I got something to say. Um, I got something to say. I got a question for you. What State Department issues, grants, gives, handles license to practice law? What State Department? I'm guessing fishermen know where to go to get a fishing license. I'm guessing drivers know where to go to get a driver's license. I'm guessing hunters know where to go to get a hunting license. Pilots know where to go to get a pilot's license. Does anybody know where to go to get a license to practice law? I'm going to say no one knows. Nobody knows where to go to get a license to practice law. Nobody. There isn't a judge, a prosecutor, a DA, the most seasoned attorneys can't tell you what State Department issues a license to practice law because it doesn't exist. Now, you people want justice. You people don't want to be slaves. You don't want to rent your property after you pay for it, or even while you're paying for it. Paying for your property and renting your property with land taxes. That's predatory. This is all predatory by these invading courts, administrative courts, slave courts, with a mutilated flag that stands for no nation and no constitution. And who the fuck is going to tell you this? Huh? Is Pete Hegseth going to tell you this? Is Donald Trump going to tell you this? Is Juan O'Savin going to tell you this? Is Derek Johnson going to tell you? Is Michael Jaco? Is Charlie Ward? Is Patriot Street Fighter? Patriot Underground? Alpha Warrior? Christopher James, A Warrior Calls? Ricardo Bosi, Captain Kyle? Is any one of these motherfuckers going to tell you there ain't no such thing as a license to practice law? And that you have a mutilated flag and you don't have American law, you have British law, British rule, slaving us, with us being the fucking slave masters. How fucking stupid do you gotta be? It's this fucking simple. What State Department issues a license to practice law? It's that fucking simple. That is a kiss. That is keeping it stupidly simple. That's a kiss with 3 S's. That's keeping it so stupidly simple. Stupidly simple. If the stupid can comprehend it, us dumb down, we ought to be able to own it. If there were any men with any balls, because I can tell you that millions of Americans are in assemblies, patriot groups, and they know about the bar. But who fucking does anything about it? Except a brief mention here and there in a talk. And ain't nobody, no Tucker Carlson, no Jesse Waters, no Gutfeld, no, no Wolf Blitzer, no Como, no Burrito Romo or whatever the fuck her name is. Ain't nobody gonna fucking tell you. But you know what'll tell you? Your forefathers, your state constitutions. There's 3 of them that talk specifically about your right to prosecute your cause in any court, in any tribunal. Your right to prosecute your own cause, you as prosecutor, but not in a fiction enemy court, not in a court in another nation. No, right fucking here. Right here, Americans in America. Common law across the common land. You cannot have a right in one state you don't have in another. Common sense, common law. Common sense, common law, thing of the past. Quantum world, quantum computing, now time, now space, reality. Reality check. We ain't going back. We ain't going back. We're going forward, baby, and fucking at the speed of light. And if you people don't wake the fuck up and stand the fuck up, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have a sip of coffee. I think I'm going to have another sip of coffee. I'm going to let my my pissed off attitude settle down for a second while I light up a cigarette. You have the right to prosecute your own cause in any court and in any tribunal. It's in your state constitutions. Now I dug up 48 state constitutions and I went through them all. I did this years ago. I've talked about this time and time and time and time and time again. And in a now time, now space, now date, I'm seeing an awful lot of exposure about the corruption in the system. But who the fuck is coming straight out and telling you that it's the British? It's British law, it's British rule. How come all these assemblies who know it? How come all the veterans who know it live on their knees, bent over a barrel? All we got to do is flip one fucking county. Rise up in one fucking county. Just one. With the cameras rolling. Cameras rolling. Flip one fucking county. Run them British agents out of town on a fucking rail. Oh, this is YouTube, so I'll be YouTube and Rumble, but this is YouTube, so I got to be YouTubey, right? Three people here. We got something in the chat. E. Wood says, I hear you, but what do we do? I'm with you, but don't know what to do. Okay. Simple thing you can do is tell everybody you know. Everywhere you go, everybody that you get a chance to talk to, that should be the topic of conversation. Ask them, what state department issues a license to practice law? This is simple. This is beyond simple. It's beyond simple. So that's the first thing you can do. Now, you start doing that, and then maybe people start getting together. Huh? Yeah, maybe then people start getting together. Huh? And then maybe some men get involved. And they stand together. And they flip the county. So right here, Kalkaska, Michigan, Kalkaska County, the village of Kalkaska, the county seat. Kalkaska County Sheriff in the village of Kalkaska. Kalkaska Village Police in the village of Kalkaska. The demonic district and circuit courts in the village of Kalkaska. The prosecutor, the court clerk, all, the tax assessor, all in the village of Kalkaska. The postmaster, Kalkaska Post Office. Now, none of these motherfuckers can face me. None of them. They are so guilty of so many crimes in their system. And I'm still alive. None of them can face me. Now, I think it was 2020, but maybe it was 2021. I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter because that was years ago, right? I took my briefcase to the Kalkaska County Sheriff's Department, and I went there to meet with the sheriff. I've been trying to meet with the sheriff for months and months and months and months, and the motherfucker dodged me, dodged me, dodged me, dodged me, dodged me. I wasn't going to be dodged that day. Time's passing. They're telling me, I can't see him. I said, fine, I'll wait. It doesn't work that way. That's the way it's going to work today. If he gets a minute to come out here and say hello and shake my hand, then that's how it'll start. Otherwise, I'll sit here until he's walking out the door at the end of the day. Sheriff wouldn't meet with me. Undersheriff wouldn't meet with me. They sent a jail sergeant out. I spent 2.5 hours with the jail sergeant. My phone had enough storage capacity to catch 20 minutes, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and it's there on YouTube. Own Your Authority. It's number 10. I'm not sure how it's titled. I don't know if it's just part 10 or the number sign 10, but Own Your Authority, YouTube, and it's number 10. The jail sergeant, I get to prove to him that the patent attorney and the patent office examiner worked against me. Let me see. Yeah. By then we had, the National Institute of Health ignored my science, funded $1.8 billion to rejuvenate gum tissue, and failed. Because they started that in 2016, the year I filed my patent. And it was a 3-year study. And that's all been wiped from the internet. You can't find it. The only thing that's there is a $1.8 million study, and that's left there to make me look like a fool. But that was a 5-year study. The 3-year study's been completely wiped. So, anyways, I proved more to him. And then I had the state constitutions with me. And you get to listen to him tell us that we get to prosecute our own cause in any court, in any tribunal. And that's where it ends. So, I mean, out of 2.5 hours with that man, that's how it ended. Now, in the beginning, I had a stack of paperwork like this, cases, court cases. Case with the head of the United States Patent and Trademark Office, a case with the DEA. I got a class action on the DEA, $100,000 a day for every man that's sitting in prison for cannabis, and $10 a day for every American that's denied oral health. Well, yeah, I've done a lot. I had a stack of court cases. The patent attorney, a long list. And I had one for the sheriff because I didn't know how my meeting at the sheriff's department was going to go. And if I got to meet with the sheriff, what I'd be facing, right? So I had a case to serve the sheriff. And so the jail sergeant, he doesn't want nothing to do with taking my paperwork. At the end of 2.5 hours, he put both hands, stretched his arms out, put both hands out to take the stack. And I gave him a copy of the 48 states constitutions. Might have a little bit of coffee. All right, so what happened? He puts his hands out to take all the paperwork, and I'm giving him the state. He says, "You're going to give me that?" I said, "Yeah. How else are you going to learn?" And then I said, and here's a case for the sheriff. So the sheriff was served right there in the Kalkaska County Sheriff's Department. So what happened? Well, interestingly enough, a great deal of time had passed. Well over a year, maybe a year and a half, maybe more. But I would somewhere I think a year and a half is pretty accurate. Um, I need to know how to spell Perot. Mike Perot, the former Kalkaska County prosecutor who prosecuted me in that kangaroo court. Um, because of a writing that I was doing. Oh, one of the cases that I served was on the prosecutor. um, I needed to know how to spell his name. And so I thought, okay, well, let's do a search. Kalkaska County prosecutor Michael Perot. Well, I managed to pull it up, got the correct spelling to learn that he had boot scoot boogied. All right. I gotta clarify this a little bit. The date that I was at the sheriff's department, I am. If you put a gun to my head, said Ethan, give me the date, June 28th. The year right now, I'm foggy on if it was 2020 or 2021, but June 28th is good for what I'm ready to tell you. By the end of July, before the end of July, Kalkaska County prosecutor, who I served at the Kalkaska County Sheriff's Department, the man who prosecuted me in that kangaroo court in the middle of his third term, tough on crime, brutal British agent, boot scoot boogied. He resigned. He had some cockamamie story about funding and yada yada. You know, he was lining his pocket. If you know, you know. They're all lining their pockets. So money wasn't his issue. And it was about that time that the FBI from, I think, 12 different agencies or 14 different agencies were all here in Michigan, entrapped. They entrapped, I think, 4 guys and created this plot to kidnap Whitmer. And I am positive the FBI was here and they did fuckery and that they were in Kalkaska. And I think the combination of all of that is what made Perot resign. Now, it gets better. So I come to find out that a few months later, the jail sergeant that I met with, who you can listen to tell you that you can prosecute your own cause in any court in any tribunal. The jail sergeant, Kalkaska County jail sergeant, and the entire jail staff quit. And old Sheriff Fat Fuckford and his under Sheriff Wagon Tails standing there with their puds in their hands, nobody to take care of the prisoners. And all the prisoners had to be moved to another facility. And all that is still there on the internet about the jail sergeant resigning, having to move the inmates, the prosecutor resigning. All right. And I didn't know I had that power. Just me. I didn't know I had that power. Nobody told me I had that power. Nobody told me, Ethan, do you know what happened? No, I couldn't get one man to go with me as a witness. No, not one man, not one First Amendment auditor, not one cannabis guy, not one military guy, not one regular guy, nobody. Pussified American men, pussified, emasculated American men with a driver's license. Pussified, emasculated men with a driver's license. So, you see, none of these motherfuckers can face me. So I've done a lot. I've done, fuck, man. You'd have to study me like you're going for a master's degree in some some genre. That's how much I've done, and it's literally made me one of the most feared men on this planet. Little old me, huh? Imagine that. Ethan, 67-year-old man, one of the most feared men on this planet, period. That's a fact. Why? Nobody can face me. None of the parasites can face me. There isn't a fucking judge that can face me. There isn't a sheriff. There isn't a fucking chief of police. There isn't a prosecutor. There isn't a district attorney. There isn't a congressman. There isn't a senator. There isn't a doctor. There isn't a dentist. There isn't a scientist. There isn't a researcher. There isn't a cannabis guy. There isn't an attorney that can fucking face me. That's how much I have done. I've been around the world. So they got to run because they can't face me. Now, that has made me heavily targeted. And I've been gang stalked to the fucking hills and around the world. So, this is what I know. All right, time for a little bit more coffee. And time to check the comments. Yeah, we got comments. Good night. Hey, Ewood and Big Stank. Yo, baby. So, isn't that simple? It's a kiss. That is keeping it stupidly simple. What state department issues a license to practice law? What federal department issues a license to practice law? Not one. So anybody wants to know what to do, tell everybody you know. Tell everybody you know. Well, ask them the question. And then tell them what you know. It's that simple. How can it get any fucking simpler? All right, now the other thing is that your state constitutions, where there was, I found 3 that specifically talked about your right to the courts, and all of the state constitutions had fuckery, had bar agent fuckery. So I didn't have original state constitutions. And again, that's all the past, and that was all in Babel, and we're in a now time, now space quantum world. It doesn't matter if you like it or you don't like it. That's reality. Fucking deal with it. Don't let the truth scare you. Don't let the truth hold you back. Fucking embrace that shit and fucking take control. Good men on their fucking knees, and what happens? Good men bent over a barrel, and what happens? No fucking man to stand with me. Well, two men from Pennsylvania came out here 3 times, and they stood with me. They stood with me in the post office. They stood with me here. I invited all of America to be here. I gave the American people a land location for a court of law. And then with registered mail, postal mechanics and the judicial process called the Kalkaska County Sheriff, Under Sheriff, Chief of Police, Judge, Prosecutor, and Postmaster and Court Clerk. Called them all to court. And I invited all of America to be here as a court of law. Land, air, and water. Courts of land, air, and water. You see, I am convinced that the word law is parasitic bar fuckery. That they were courts of land, air, and water, and law was an acronym. And over the generations, that got put into practice as a word. And then they went and started this legal shit. And then legal and lawful, and almost nobody knew the difference. Because nobody talked about it. Grandma and Grandpa didn't talk about it. Uncle Joe didn't talk about it. Aunt Mary didn't talk about it. Mom and Dad didn't talk about it. Your teachers didn't talk about it. Nobody talked about it. And so we got a bunch of fucking morons walking around, don't know the difference between legal and lawful. Can't comprehend that there is no department, state or federal, that issues a license to practice law. And if I had 5 men that would stand with me, 5 motherfuckers like those 2 guys from Pennsylvania, they saved my life when they were here. Because the day of court, just after midnight, there was an assassin team here. But the hunters became the hunted. And that's a fact. That is a fact. And those 2 men, I'm afraid they have paid a price for standing with me. Because the last message I got was kind of weird. And it's been a long time since I've heard from them boys, but they saved my life. And probably theirs. And probably theirs. So what did I do? I proved that cannabis is good for health. I scientifically proved it. I'm the first guy to scientifically prove that cannabis is good for health. Not only is it good for health, science says you cannot rejuvenate your lost gum tissue. But with cannabis formulations, we see it. We see the gaps between the teeth close. We see the gum tissues grow. We see the plaque go away. Now, that's not the only way that it can be done. But nobody talks about the other ways, but I do. But the people that talk about the other ways will never talk about cannabis. No, they run. They run. They hide. They delete my my comments. That's how it is. See if there's any more comments. No more comments. So go ahead, ask me anything if you want. It says there's 4 people here, but that could be a lie. That could be a lie. There could be 20 people here. Four people here that have no idea where to go to get a license to practice law. And they know it. Right? You know it. You don't know where to go to get a license to practice law because there is no fucking such thing as a license to practice law. So how come no VA? We got a VA here in Kalkaska. We got a VA hall right in the village. We got American state nationals walking the streets. How come nobody will stand up to these motherfuckers? Flip one county. One county and show the world how it's done. Well, that's what was on my mind. Keep it really stupidly simple. Where do you get a license to practice law? You can't. You can get a bar card. You got all these ain't nobody gonna tell you. And none of them will talk flag law. None of these podcasters will talk flag law. None of them. So you got these idiots that tell you they know what's going on. You got these idiots who want to talk about what's going on. I'll tell you what's going on. You're getting fucked by the British. And it's time to round them all up. Every judge, every sheriff, every police, every attorney, they need to be rounded the fuck up. And we need to shut it down. And there's a lot more to do, but Jesus, you got to start with justice. You got to start with your house, your county. Your county. We got less than 3,000 counties. I'm pretty sure. I think it's like 2,800. Could be wrong. But How many Americans? How many did they not kill off? How many we still got walking around, huh? Out of that, can we find 5 men? Can we find 5 men and the means to get them to Kalakaska? Because I know I got the power. Because the only thing that the fat fuckford, Kalakaska County Sheriff, fat fuckford, and Kalakaska Village Police, Poopy Pants Popa, the only thing they got are their dogs. That's the only thing the judge has. That's the only thing the prosecutor has. That's the only thing these parasite attorneys have, is their dogs. I vacated the jail staff and the prosecutor. I got the power. I know how to talk the talk. I have the facts. And if I get 5 men, like the 2 men that were here from Pennsylvania, to come stand with me and back the dogs down, give me a chance to educate them, they'll vacate. And then it's easy. Some of them will come over to our side. And Poopy Pants and Fuckford and Wagon Tails and Butt Day and Ziggy and Hill and the Champagne and the whole rest of the gang, right? I'm sure there's a lot more need to be rounded up. Round them up. Vigilantes. Vigilantes to bring peace and organize. Go through the process of putting together your community, however you want to do it. Make it lawful, make it just, make it American. Be an American. Jesus Christ, World War II, you had teenagers lying about their age. The Civil War, you had teenagers lying about their age to go and fight for their country. The veterans today, what do? They come back pussies, killing themselves. Save a veteran. Save as many veterans as you can. And get 5 of them or more to come and stand with me. Or 5 men. Highly trained men. They're willing to take care of business as business needs to be taken care of. Fucking dogs think fucking bullets are going to be flying their way. They'll be backing down. We're going in to talk. But we got power. And we have force. We have might. And we weaken the enemy. We destroy their army. And now they're defenseless. That's how you do it. It's that fucking simple. So you can listen to all the motherfucking bullshit from all these other motherfuckers. All this fucking fear mongering, all of this. What about that? What about this? What about blah, 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 blah. Fuck. The goddamn British are fucking slaving y'all. A bar card is a private member club. They take an oath to the bar. British accredited Regency. They take an oath to the bar. The client is the lowest priority. Wake the fuck up. I'm going to check the chat one more time. Big Stink says something here. I got to put my glasses on to read it. Oh, Alf is says, let's see. I don't know how to pronounce that. Athletes? Gertra. They try to say their membership card is the license. They can say whatever the fuck they want. It ain't no fucking license. They take an oath to the fucking British. Big Stank says, yeah, that's their union membership number. Laugh out loud. That's right. You want a real good fucking hire an attorney. There you go. Don't hire an attorney. Don't fucking contract with the enemy. That's the biggest fucking lie. Anytime somebody's got a problem, oh, you need an attorney. The fuck you do. Not no fucking bar agent. You're a prosecutor, baby. You are prosecutor of your own cause in any court, in any tribunal. Own your fucking authority. We outnumber them. We have Second Amendment. Well, fuck Second Amendment. We have guns. We have more than guns. We got brains. We got guns, right? We got guns. We got knives. We got baseball bats. We got pitchforks. We got tar and feathers. Are you going to live on your fucking knees? Is that what you want for your mother in her old age? Your father in his old age? Your sister? Your wife? Your girlfriend? Your wife-to-be? Your children? Your grandchildren? Your friends? Is that what you want for them? That's not what I want. Not for anyone. So, what are you going to do? I hope everywhere you go, you're going to say, do you know where I can get a license to practice law? Do you know what State Department issues a license to practice law? Things are not right. I want to make a change. Where do I get a license to practice law? Start the conversation that way, right? And then they'll say, I don't know. Of course they don't know. Nobody knows. There's your lead in. You say, well, there is no place. There is no license. All the attorneys that say they got a license to practice law are lying to you. All the judges that say you need a license to practice law, they're lying to you. All the police, the policy officers, the road pirates, all the sheriffs, all the federal fucking police, the Department of Justice, the district attorneys, the congressmen, the senators, the governors, the mayors, the county board of commissioners. Oh, you need a license to practice law. Fuck you. I got a license. I got a license right here. I got a fucking gun. You want it up your fucking backside, motherfucker? I'm here to fucking bring it, baby. Where are the men? In their man caves, watching football. Got their bearskin hoodies. Polishing their guns. That's where they are. Oh, thinking about that next root canal. I'll be back. I got to do a talk on teeth. And so that's coming. But I spent the entire day trimming, bringing the harvest in. So tomorrow is another day, all day trimming. So maybe tomorrow night, or I guess it was morning. It was a morning. Well, it depends on your time zone. For me, it was probably AM when I went live with this. At any rate, I'll check the chat one more time. Check the chat one more time. Big Stank says, first obligation is to the court officers of the court. Yeah. Their first highest priority is to the bar. Second highest priority is to themselves. Oh, no. Second highest priority is to color of law, statutes, acts, codes, rules, regulations, ordinances. Third priority is the attorney himself, or the judge, or the district attorney, or whatever their position, right? Third is themselves. And guess where you come in? Dead fucking last, baby. So get a grip. You want to be last? Or you want to bring your guns? Huh? Bring your guns. Bring your guns. Be a man. Fucking hit him right between the eyes. Wake the road pirates up. They're all brainwashed. Wake them the fuck up. It ain't hard. I had no idea I did it. Nobody had the balls to tell me I did it. So at any rate, I'm going to drop it there. Love you. I'll be back. I will.